welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm gonna be undertaking a mighty challenge. 7 classical books in 7 days. I really like to read classical books. I try and read like one a year. So I thought, why not read classical books for a video, because I've really been wanting to read these books and, you know, this will push me to do it. So I'm gonna take you guys along and we're gonna see if I can do it. I'm just excited. It's definitely gonna be challenging. I've picked a few shorter books and a few longer books that I just really want to read. So I'm hoping that like my will to want to read them will help me through. Day 1. Alright, so I'm about to start on book number 1 of this challenge, and I'm going to be reading The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. Super excited about it. I've had this book on my bookshelf for years. It's about 203 pages, so not even that long, and hopefully I can either finish it today or at least get a good chunk of the way through. My little reading buddy, sleeping. Pages into Tom Sawyer right now, and so far it's just about a little boy and, you know, his adventures. It's pretty nice. The chapters are pretty short, most of them, so it's pretty easy reading. Might call it a night though, because I'm getting really tired and I have to get up really early for an interview tomorrow, so we'll see. Hello. So it is officially day 2 of trying to read 7 classical books in 7 days. I am about halfway, kind of. I'm on page 80 of Tom Sawyer. I just had to drive a little over an hour for a job interview. This is good because that gives me 2 hours of audiobook time. I'm just gonna keep chugging along and I will see you guys when hopefully I'm done. Alright guys, I just finished the first book, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain, my first Mark Twain novel. At first, I didn't really like it. I was kind of just like, meh. It's just kind of like a story about a little boy and his crazy imagination and childhood, really rambunctious and bad, too smart for his own good. But then, towards like the middle and then the second half, it's almost a little bit suspenseful. Like, I was listening to it on audiobook and I was getting a little bit like, oh my gosh. Because of that, I was actually pretty interested in the story. That is why I'm gonna give this one 4 stars. Overall, good book. I was pleasantly surprised by the end and like all the twists and turns and how just like suspenseful it was. I wasn't expecting that for like a kid's book. I think if I was a little boy reading this, I would love Tom. I would want to be like him, which might not be the best thing, and my parents might hate me for it, but I thought it was cute. With that being said, I'm going to start my second book of the series, and it's a small one, so hopefully I can finish it today and be back on track. But I'm going to be reading Ernest Hemingway's The Old Man and the Sea. I'm so excited for this book. I've literally heard about it a million times and just never read it. So it's really short, 127 pages. The words are pretty big. I think that it'll be good. I think it's about a guy catching a whale or something. Yeah. I was thinking more about Tom Sawyer, and it kind of struck me that it's very reminiscent of To Kill a Mockingbird. So if you like To Kill a Mockingbird, I feel like it's similar vibes to Tom Sawyer, and you might enjoy it. So I'm listening to Ernest Hemingway right now and making my new April calendar spread. I just finished Ernest Hemingway's The Old Man and the Sea, and this was seriously such a good book. It was so beautifully written. The way that he described the sea, fish, the birds, just everything was so incredibly beautiful. Okay, can you not? Anyways, I give this book 5 stars. Ernest Hemingway, good job. So I'm gonna be moving on to my 3rd book of the series, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, and I'm also gonna read the 2nd book, Through the Looking Glass, both by Lewis Carroll. We all know the story, but have you ever read it? I have not. The physical copy that I have right here has both the first and the second book in it, so that's pretty exciting. The first book is about 100 pages and the second book is somewhat close to that. I want to say maybe like 110. Quick reads. I'm thinking hopefully I can finish at least one of them today. That way I will be caught up for the 7 books in 7 days. Here we go. Hello, it is day 4. I just got off work. Today I helped cork and bottle and package and label over 10,000 wine bottles. So wrap your mind around that, okay? I'm gonna start reading and also lay down because I'm so tired. And we're gonna see if I can knock out some books today. So I read 2 pages and fell asleep for 3 hours. Finished Alice in Wonderland. It was cool because I did a ballet of Alice in Wonderland, and so I knew some of the things that were in it. I think it was a house of cards and I was the caterpillar, and so like I knew like certain things. But also it was like really strange to actually read it. Nothing made sense. The whole time I was just like confused. It was really short, which is like good. I don't know, it was like whimsical but also confusing and made no sense at the same time. So I think I'm gonna give it 3 stars. It was not my favorite. I'm gonna read Through the Looking Glass. Maybe that one I will enjoy a little more. Going to a job fair, so wish me luck. And then I'm gonna come back and I'm finally gonna read and finish my 4th book on the 5th day. And tomorrow is gonna be a marathon day because I have to read 2 books to get caught up. So stay tuned, we're gonna get it done. Y'all, this has been a rough week for Jasmine when it comes to jobs because I just went to an interview for this one job. I was already feeling like it wasn't what I thought it was gonna be, but then I was confirmed in the interview because it was literally just like a door-to-door insurance agent. I'm not gonna be a door-to-door salesman. I'm just gonna read today and pretend like my life isn't sad. Also, my video didn't work and look, I look all professional. Alright guys, so I need to have a real talk with you because this challenge has been actually so difficult. I think part of it is because classical books are hard to get through. I think Alice in Wonderland is just not the book for me. I finally finished it and I'm on the 2nd book and it's just as weird. I read a chapter and then fell asleep for 2 hours. This happened last time I tried to read it. I don't know what's wrong with this book. Today I have to read 3 books to be caught up so that tomorrow I only have to read 1 book. And also I've been working like full-time hours, so I just get home and I'm sleepy and I eat and then I go to sleep. I have not had time to read. This is a very difficult challenge and maybe I'm just a baby, but you guys should try it at home and see if you could do it because wow. Anyways, it's like 3:15 now. I'm just gonna try my hardest. I have a call with my cousin at 4 to talk about how her trip to Germany went for study abroad. So I will obviously not be reading during that. Wish me luck, y'all, because I need it. Okay, we have like 48 hours to read 4 books. And these are like all the long ones now. The Old Man and the Sea, I was supposed to read 2 books that day. That was like my plan so that I'd be like kind of ahead so that these longer books that were like 400 pages, I wouldn't have to read them in 1 day. It's rough, okay? I'm not doing good. This might not be a 7 books in 7 days. Okay, y'all. Okay, y'all. Oh my god. Okay, y'all. So, okay guys, y'all, okay, everyone that's here still. I finished Through the Looking Glass, and let me tell you, I am not a fan. I think maybe it's Lewis Carroll, whatever you say. It's probably Carroll. I just think it's funny to call him Lewis Carroll. Anyways, I don't know why I'm feeling silly right now, but I finished Through the Looking Glass and not my favorite. I have decided to give it 2 stars. It was just so boring. It didn't make any sense. I like whimsical things, but this was like too much whimsy and it was too much. There was a lot of poetry, which I like poetry sometimes, but this was not good poetry. It was weird poetry. At the end, I put on the audiobook at like 1.5 speed and that was like how I finished it, because I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm really hopeful though for the next books, because I have really wanted to read them. They've been on my TBRs for a long time. Like, I have hope. I have to go to the library, pick up one of the books that I'm about to start reading. All I know is that Through the Looking Glass, not good. I've read 4 books in 6 days, which is very impressive considering I've been working, but it's still not enough. I need to hit 7, so wish me luck. I got 3 more books to go. I am on chapter 9 of The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. I was listening to it on audiobook like while I went to the library to get my other book. I'm a little bit sad because that's only 50 pages in. Like, I thought it was gonna be so much further, because I've literally been listening for 2 hours, but I'm not. I'm gonna take a quick break from this. I just really want to start this book that I got from the library today. Exciting. My 6th book that I'm gonna be reading is Orlando by Virginia Woolf. I don't know why, but I'm literally so excited to read this book. The back just looks so cool. Like, when you look on Goodreads and you read the description, it's about this like woman who doesn't die, and so she like lives through all these different like times, and I don't know, kind of giving off The Invisible Life of Addie Rue, I think. That book wasn't actually my favorite, but still very cool principle, and I'm really excited for Orlando. So those are books 5 and 6 that I'm going to be reading. The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, which I've really been enjoying so far. It picks up right where Tom Sawyer left off. Literally no time has passed. I think because I was like getting really invested in Tom Sawyer at the end, like this one has been really exciting to read. I'm gonna start Orlando and I'm really excited. Really liking it. So we're following Orlando, who in my confusion is man at this point. He's like in the court and he's just met this woman who's like taken his fancy, and the language is so flowery and like poetic, and I'm really liking this book. I'm on page 41 and I feel like I'm flying through it. Love you. Alright, so it's almost 2 in the morning. It's really funny because I talked to my mom. I told her I was supposed to read 3 books today, and she was like, well, how many did you read? I said 1, and then half of 2 books. And she was like, so you could have just read 2 books. And I was like, that's fair. But I got about 100, almost 100 pages into both books. They're both pretty interesting. Huckleberry Finn is just absolutely nothing like what I was expecting it to be, but like in a good way. I like it so far. And Orlando is also nothing like I expected it to be, but it's really good. I really like the way that Virginia Woolf like writes. It's very poetic, like a little bit flowery, which at sometimes can be like annoying because it's like, just get to your point, but also I don't know, it's pretty nice. And then Huckleberry Finn is just like a really easy read, I feel like, except for when the slave is talking. In old books they do this, but his writing, like his words are written how he would have said it, and so it's really confusing to read. Okay, here's one. I don't care, right? I don't care what the widder say. He warn't no wiser man nother. All I know is it's really difficult. But I also really like listening to the Huckleberry Finn and the Tom Sawyer audiobooks. I feel like they're done so well. I feel like once I get done like listening to the audiobook, I feel like I gotta talk in an accent because I'm country boy. Although it's really confusing because I think they live in like Illinois, and isn't Illinois in the north? So they had slaves? I'm like confused. Were they a free state or not free state? That's just me being ignorant of like actual history, so I might have to look that up. But long story short, I'm going to bed. It's 2 in the morning. It's technically day 7. I'm gonna try my darndest to finish at least one of these books tomorrow. We will see. If I finish both these books tomorrow, which would be a miracle, I'll still have one more book. Anyways, see you in the morning. It's extremely early. I got up at like 7 and I'm off to work. How exciting. Alright, so I am reading Huckleberry Finn still. I'm getting like almost halfway. The book is still really good. It's just like not really what I was expecting, but it's really good. It's kind of fast-paced. There's a lot of like twists and turns, and it kind of keeps you on your toes a little bit. I definitely feel like Mark Twain is very like easy to read. It's written in the perspective of, I think Huckleberry Finn is like maybe 14 in this book, and he's the narrator, so it's not like super hard to understand. I love like the little times when him and his traveling companion Jim are talking, and they just say these things that like only like a kid or like someone who's like, you know, not super educated would say, but it's like how they wonder about the world in such a thought-provoking way. Like, for example, they were talking about the stars and like how they all got there, right? And Jim had the idea that the moon like spawned all of them, and at first Huck was like, I don't know, that seems like crazy because there's so many stars. But then he was like, but I have seen like frogs and they lay just about as many, so it does make sense. And like just like the way, I don't know, the way like they tied into nature and like also like what he would have seen. I don't know, it was just really interesting. Huckleberry Finn right now, it's getting high star rating because it's really good and I'm really enjoying it. Just finished Huckleberry Finn. Let me say, that book is really good. It was a cute ending. I would say like the first half or so was really good. I was like really invested, and then there were some like characters that I was less excited for. They made the second half like not as exciting, but then the last third of the book, some crazy stuff happens, and then it's like fun again, although a little bit strange because yeah, he's just a little boy doing some strange things. But all in all, very good book. I'm currently reading Orlando, and I'm getting like pretty close to the end. And I just came to a sentence and it says, "Madam," the man cried, leaping to the ground, "you're hurt." "I'm dead, sir." I just think that's really funny. I don't know why, but that's like the best line I've read so far in this book. Because she was just talking about, she was like so sad, then she broke her ankle. She was just like laying there all day, like on the ground. And then she finally, I don't know why, the fact that she said, "I'm dead, sir." I think I'm delirious. Alright guys, so I have officially finished Orlando, the longest book ever. I honestly feel a little bit confused as to what even happened. It was nothing that I was expecting. Like, I read the synopsis kind of, and it was about this man that turns into a woman and lives like over 300 years, right? And something time traveling, exciting, you know, and it was not that. I will say there are a few moments where what's being said is very eloquently put. It's also very, you know, for the time that it was written, a lot of the themes are kind of crazy to think that Virginia Woolf like could have written all of these things. Obviously these thoughts were being thought, but I don't really think they were being written, and so that's kind of cool to see. She's kind of a pioneer in that sense, but also a lot of the book is like nonsense. I don't know, guys. I really don't think I enjoyed it. I thought I enjoyed it. Like, at first I was thinking, I'm enjoying this, and then no. I'm just like confused, like what happened? And also it was really like the last like 30 pages didn't make any sense. Like, I think they were like trying to explain how she like time traveled this whole time, but it was strange. There were moments where I thought the writing was very beautiful, but it wasn't that good. I wouldn't recommend unless you really like flowery words that take 20 minutes to tell you one thing. Hey guys, I still have not finished reading 7 classical books in 7 days. It's been a long time, I'm not gonna lie. Many days have passed. Now the 7th book. Are you ready? Round of applause. Little Women. I am 113 pages into Little Women. this is a very long book. But this one is actually really good. Little Women has been very entertaining, as I thought it would be. This was honestly the top of my list of all the books that I had picked for this video. It's pretty good. I'm not gonna say it's my favorite, but it's pretty up there. Okay, so anyways, I will let you know when I finish. Hey, what's up? So this video is kind of crazy because it has sat in my like editing app for so long. I started filming this video in March of 2023. It is now the day before Halloween 2024. That's a long time. And you know, here's the saddest part about this whole thing. The whole reason that I put off this outro and like finishing this video for so long is because I'm still not done with Little Women. So I was like, I just need to finish Little Women first. But you know what? You know, that's not the reality of the situation. It's been a year and a half and I have utterly failed the 7 classic books in 7 days. If a year and a half is not failing, then I don't know what is. It was good until it was just boring. And I need to finish it. I will finish it at some point in my life, but that day is not today. So I thought that I would just go through the books that I did read and give you a final rating and review of them. Starting at the bottom, my lowest rated book, Through the Looking Glass. I did not enjoy my time reading Through the Looking Glass at all. Not a fan. I ended up giving this book 2 stars. Although I was excited to read this book at the beginning, there were kittens, there was chess, it ended up being a book of complete nonsense. Lots of awful poetry, weird stories, not for me. Moving on, my second lowest rated book, although I was so excited for this one, is Orlando. I ended up giving this one 2.5 stars. I had such high expectations for this book, and that may have been why I disliked it so much, but really I just found it to be such flowery wording, a little boring. Although there were some profound and very eloquently written themes throughout this book, it just didn't do it for me. Moving on, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. I gave this book 3 stars. I did not like this one either. It follows the same format as Through the Looking Glass, a bunch of short little poems and stories, and the only reason that I gave this one a higher rating than Through the Looking Glass is because it had some nostalgic factors for me. I kind of already knew the characters, not my favorite. Moving on, we have The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. I gave both of these books 4 stars. I actually enjoyed them so much. I think I would have to say that Tom Sawyer comes next if I have to put them in order, just because the beginning half of the book was a little bit boring, but the second half really picked up, and then there's like suspense and like what's gonna happen, and I kind of just fell in love with the characters. Huckleberry Finn starts off exactly where Tom Sawyer ended, and so you're still with the same characters that you love. I just thought that Huckleberry Finn had a very interesting like story, and I really enjoyed it so much. I am definitely a fan of Mark Twain. I'm not sure if he wrote other books, but I would love to read them in the future. Also, the audiobooks for these ones were so well done. I enjoyed them immensely, so definitely, if you're thinking about giving these ones a chance, but you don't really like reading classics, definitely try the audiobook. The final thing that I'll say about these books is I think that Huckleberry Finn was definitely better because I read Tom Sawyer first. So if you're interested in getting into these books, definitely start with Tom Sawyer, even though it is a little bit less exciting than Huckleberry Finn. And then finally, this brings us to the last book that I was able to read and my favorite book that I read in this challenge, The Old Man and the Sea. This book, I cannot stop raving about it. It was definitely a 5-star read for me. I thought that it was beautifully written with beautiful descriptions. I loved the way that Hemingway describes the sea and the animals that inhabit it, and it was just such a good read. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit disappointed by the end. I had no idea how it was gonna end, so I was a little bit shocked, but I did enjoy the story so much. And I also listened to this one like half audiobook, half reading, and I thought the audiobook was so fun. The narrator makes it sound like an old man, and I just really just felt like I was with like an old little fisherman guy who's out there just in his boat living his life trying to catch this fish. Highly recommend The Old Man and the Sea. that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. This has literally been a year and a half in the making. Let me know in the comments below if you've read any of these books, if you have any classic recommendations, or if you'd like to see me do a 7 books in 7 days again, but like maybe with something that's a little easier to read. This challenge was definitely difficult, and I don't really think that I became as studious as I thought I was gonna be. When I first started it, I was like, oh, you know, maybe I'll get smart. I don't know if that's what happened to me. I just started talking in a weird southern accent. That's probably a problem. But that brings us to the end of this video. Wish me luck finishing Little Women. I know I need to finish it, y'all. I want to watch the movie so badly. I still don't even know how it ends. What happens to the sisters? Happy Halloween, y'all.